to the Next in Line podcast, where we are helping to prepare you for whatever is next in line. As always, I'm your host, Chance Pitts, and I would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. Guys, first and foremost, as always, the housekeeping. If you receive value from this episode or any other episode that we have put out with the show, please make sure you are sharing the information and the show with other people who might receive that same benefit. Also, make sure you're checking us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That's at Next in Line Development on all of those platforms. And then, guys, if you don't mind, the real thing that we need the most help with is if you like what you're hearing, if you enjoy the show, if it helps you in some way move through your development process or move through your day, please make sure you are subscribing to us on whatever platform you're listening on, but also leave us a rating or a review, if possible, on your platform. That's going to help us be able to reach more of an audience. It's going to help us be more visible whenever people search for development and self-help, and it'll help us grow the movement overall, and we can have the biggest reach to impact the most people in a positive way. Also, along with that, while we're on that topic, thank you to everyone who has reached out and showed us some love or support around the race that we just ran over in Brazos Bend, the 60 miler, the 100K. It's been awesome to hear from all you great people out there that are keeping up with what we're doing and showing the support. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much. And along with that, we've also had some people reach out with questions. We've also had people reach out asking for a little bit of help here and there. And that brings us to our topic for today on this Thoughtful Thursday. So what I wanted to speak with y'all about today is something that I've been asked about a few different times. It's also something that I've spoke about on the podcast previously, but I don't think I've dove as deep into it as I'm going to today with y'all on this episode. So guys, what I wanted to do for y'all today on this Thoughtful Thursday is give you 5 tips for maintaining accountability. And guys, we all know what accountability is. It is making sure that you are doing the things that you are supposed to do whenever you're trying to push through a process, whether that's developing your physical fitness, your finance, your overall health and diet. It could be in your relationship. There's a number of places where this accountability fits into your life, really in every single aspect of your life. It's important to have this accountability. So guys, in order to maintain that, you need to do a few different things. And I'm going to start with number 1 here. Find your why. Then make sure that that why is enough to keep you motivated. We have all heard the expression, I found my why, or this is my why. And what we're saying when we say that is, the reason I want to lose weight is because I want to do this. The reason I want to get financially free is because I want to do this. The reason I want to get my business up off the ground is so I can do this. Whatever it is, if you're going through that new promotion or whatever you find yourself chasing, there's got to be some sort of why. There's got to be a drive behind you deciding to make that move. And it's got to be sustainable enough to where whenever you show up on those days and you are dragging ass, you don't want to be involved in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's the gym or your career or your financial planning and your budgeting. Guys, you've got to have something bigger at hand that sits in the back of your head and reminds you every single time of why you are doing what you're doing. James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy, he did 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states. He's a super impressive guy. And one of the things he is quoted as saying, I think he quoted Nietzsche when he said this, was, "He who has his why can bear almost any how." And what is meant by that, guys, is once you find that reason that you are doing the things you're doing, once you go and you find a true driving factor behind what you're trying to do and why you want to do it, that is when you can overcome damn near any odds that come your way. Any challenges, any obstacles, any bad situations, it makes it that much easier. Think about your kids. Think about your overall goals. Think about the financial freedom, enjoying life. These are all great whys. I had somebody reach out to me the other day and try to figure out how to stay motivated in the gym and maintain that accountability. And I said, okay, what's your overall goal? And I know they have kids. I know they've got some other things going on in their lives. And the goal that they presented to me was, my goal is to be able to do 10 pull-ups. And this is somebody who has kids. He's got some good reasons for wanting to get back in shape, right? Well, whenever they reached out and said, I want to have a goal of doing 10 pull-ups, what I told him was that goal is not specific enough. It's not deeply rooted enough and motivating. And then I asked him the question. I said, deep down inside, do you really care? Does it really matter if you can achieve 10 pull-ups in a row? And he said, no. It's a cool thing to be able to do. It's a good idea, but it's not a driving factor. A driving factor, a motivator, a way to maintain that accountability would be so that I can be physically active, so that I can do the things with my kid that I want to do whenever they're old enough to do them. They're physically active now, so I want to be able to play with them all day without getting tired or winded or not be able to participate in some of these activities because I'm not in shape to do so. So that is number one, starting out right there, guys. Find your why, and then make sure it is enough. Then number two, make a list and have a set time for completion. Guys, if you're trying to maintain accountability every single day, and you know that you have a cycle, you have a process of things that you need to do, whether it's go to the gym, whether it's sit down and write your budget, whether it's to work through your emails to make sure that you've got all the quotes handled, all the responses handled for your customers, whatever it might be, you need to make a checklist on a day-to-day basis. Andy Frisella talks about this as a power list, a list of tasks that are things that he has to get done in his day. And once he completes them, his work day is complete. Now, whether he finishes that at 7 in the evening or 1 in the afternoon, once his work tasks are taken care of, he has accomplished the goal for the day. And guys, what you're doing whenever you make that list is you are making yourself stay accountable by having tangible objects that you have to see, and they're right in front of you every single day. It is so easy to start your day and for something to go haywire, for things to get all jumbled up, people to throw all these different things in front of you that you can struggle with and you can get tangled up in, and you can just lose sight of your overall goals. That's why it is important for you to have that list, that set list of things that you can audit your day against to see if you were productive or not, to see if you reached your goals, and to ensure that, yes, they are in front of you, and it is a conscious choice if you choose not to do those things. It is much harder to say no or to ignore a task or to procrastinate whenever you've got a list of items set to be done at a certain time in the day, and you have to get those things done. They're non-negotiable to you, and you can't just ignore them. They're right there. You have a list. There's no excuses as to why you can't do it. It is a conscious, lazy choice if you do not do them. You can hold yourself accountable by doing this. And that's number two, guys. Make a list and then set a time for that list to be completed. Number three, create an environment for yourself to succeed. Now, this is one of the greatest tips that came out of me reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And what he talks about in this book is creating an environment in which you can be successful. He essentially says that successful people and people who get things done and have good habits aren't necessarily mentally tougher. A lot of times they end up being mentally tougher through training, but they don't start out as mentally tougher. They're just smarter. They make the process easier on themselves. And what do I mean by that? Like I've said in the past on some of these podcasts, guys, if you are trying to lose weight, you need to create an environment where there's not bad food. There's not sugary snacks. There's not ice cream in the freezer. There's not Little Debbie's in the pantry. There's not a bunch of carbs just laying around the house all over the place. You have to create an environment to where you can succeed. It's easy for you to maintain that diet because you don't have a bunch of bad food. Same thing with spending. Don't go and just shop at places and look around for things you don't need. Don't look for cars or trucks or whatever on the internet in your free time. Don't look at guns. Don't look at other ways to spend your money. Make sure you are stopping those bad habits and you're creating an environment of saving that money rather than finding things to spend it on before you even have it in your pocket. Guys, you got to just create that environment and that situation for you to be successful and to remain accountable. So guys, that's number three. Create an environment for yourself to succeed. Then number four, this is one that has actually worked really well for a lot of people, including myself. And that is find an accountability partner. Now, I had someone reach out to me looking for this. They needed somebody to help hold them accountable, somebody to make sure they were doing what they are supposed to do. A lot of us get wrapped up in the feeling of wanting to do things by ourselves, wanting to handle things on our own. We're too tough to need someone else's help. And I understand that. I was like that for a long way, and I'm still like that in many different ways as well, in many aspects of my life. But the problem is, whenever you are failing on a consistent basis to maintain that accountability, it is very easy. It makes it much easier, I should say, if you bring someone in who has the same common goals as you, or who cares about you enough to ensure you are doing what you are wanting to do. You are working towards the goal every single day that you've set for yourself. So what I am going to do for this person is I'm going to reach out to them once a week to ensure that they are still working towards their plan. I'm going to be open, and I'm going to talk to them about the goals that they have set for themselves. I'm going to allow them to elaborate on what they've done, what they haven't done, why they've done it, why they haven't done it. I am going to speak with them, and I'm going to listen, and we're going to have an open-ended conversation. It's going to be one of those things that I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to tell them what they need to hear and why they need to hear it, and I'm going to hold them accountable. That is the purpose of number 4, finding yourself an accountability partner. And number 5 on this list, guys, set aside time for honest self-reflection. Guys, it is extremely important to not bury your head in the sand like an ostrich whenever things are not going your way. Whenever you break promises to yourself, whenever you procrastinate, whenever you make excuses, or whenever you're lazy, all these different bad habits and bad situations you can put yourself in, it's easy to want to avoid the subject by being busy with something else. Usually a lot of these things that we keep ourselves busy with are actually things that are not healthy. They just extenuate the whole problem that we have in the beginning of this process. So what you have to do is you need to set time aside and have those same conversations you would have with an accountability partner with yourself. You need to look at your goals, look at the things you have told yourself you need to do, look at those responsibilities that you have, check your daily lists that you've written out for yourself, and honestly self-reflect. Have you done the things today that you need to do in order to be successful? Are your actions and your mindset that you find yourself in today conducive to building the life that you want and to reaching the goals that you have set for yourself? That is the conversation that you have to have with yourself. And the hardest part of this whole entire thing is being honest. You will have to be very upfront with yourself at all times. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to making excuses for yourself. I know I was my entire development process. And I finally hit a point to where I stopped making those excuses. And that's when the true progress started to show. That's when I started losing weight. That's when I got mentally tougher. That's when I had better habits in my everyday life. I was more dedicated to the people around me and to my career. Whenever I stopped making excuses for myself as to why I wasn't able to do the things I was able to do. Guys, these 5 tips are going to be extremely important for maintaining accountability in your life through your development process. Like I said, this works in your physical health, this works with your mental health, your financial health, your spiritual health, whatever it might be that you're struggling with or just working to develop and progress in. These ways of maintaining accountability will be extremely important. And guys, I'm going to run through them one more time just so you have them in front of you. Number 1, find your why. Then you've got to make sure it's enough. Guys, figure out why you're wanting to do the things you're wanting to do and make sure that you have a large enough reason around it. You can't want something on a small scale and make it happen on a large scale. Then guys, number 2, make a list and have a set time for completion. Guys, give yourself a hard stop. Make yourself work diligently and make yourself follow a schedule. Make yourself hit this checklist every single day and finish the things that you need to finish in order to progress. Then guys, number 3, create an environment for yourself to succeed. Guys, the easiest way to form good habits is to create habits for yourself along the way. If you're going to try to form the habit of going to the gym before work early in the morning, don't wait till the next morning to pack your bag. Make sure you get ready in the evening. You set that bag out, you put all your workout clothes in it, all your work clothes you're going to change into in it, and you get that packed ahead of time. You form that habit so that the habit of going to the gym becomes easier. That's how you create an environment in which you can succeed. Guys, number 4, find an accountability partner. It doesn't have to be your best friend. Oftentimes, it shouldn't be somebody that doesn't want to hurt your feelings. You've got to have somebody that's going to have an open and honest conversation with you at all times, because that is the true way that you reach your goal, is realizing that there is a problem and working to defeat it and overcome that problem every single day. Then guys, last on that list, number 5, set aside time for honest self-reflection. You have to make sure that you're being honest with yourself, guys. Make sure that you are putting yourself in a position to understand your habits, your reasons for not doing things, and then it's going to be very easy to overcome those obstacles that you place in front of yourself whenever you understand why you do them, when you tend to do them, and how you tend to do them. You can overcome that situation and maintain accountability and move in the right direction if you understand yourself and you're honest at all times. Guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Next in Line podcast. This has been another Thoughtful Thursday. This has been really enjoyable getting to put out this show for y'all. It's hard to believe we're already 30-something episodes into this series. I would also just like to say thank you to everybody who has shared the show and helped us grow this movement. We're seeing the numbers kick up a little bit. So, guys, just keep going full steam ahead, helping us grow and reach the most people with positivity. And always be prepared for whatever is next in line.